Good afternoon. 1969. 1969 was a pretty good year for innovation. 1969 was a pretty good year for technical evolution. The Boeing 747 had its maiden flight in 1969. In 1969, the Apollo mission managed to successfully land the man on the moon. Both of these were innovations that should last for decades. In 1969, in the IBM company, we managed the first virtualization of a server on the mainframe. 45 years ago, the birthplace, if you want, of the cloud, the core technology behind cloud. Innovation, technical evolution that was supposed to last for decades. 45 years later on, we're talking about the hype, about the phenomenon of cloud. It was a technical evolution that really started 45 years ago. But what is this time, 45 years later, that we live in? Is it just technical evolution, or are we living through societal revolution? Uruguay, a country of 3.3 million people and about 4 million cell phones. In the US, the average citizen spends 2 hours and 42 minutes every day in front of his or her smartphone, doing all sorts of applications. If you think about what is the most prominent, the most popular mobile payment application in the United States, usually I get the answer Citibank, HSBC, Swift. Well, it's neither of those companies. It's Starbucks. Starbucks has a mobile payment application for its Star Points, for its loyalty scheme, where you can give points to your friends, to your peers. And that is happening 5 million times a week and has made the Starbucks app the most popular, the most widely used mobile payment app in the United States. Netflix, a company that consumes about a third of the internet bandwidth that is available in the United States. Uber, a company that is attacked by many taxi companies around the world. They are operational in about 40 countries, 140 cities around the world. And people accuse them of going after the taxi industry. Now, when you talk to the management of Uber, they will tell you that they couldn't care less than about the taxi industry. The one industry they are after is an industry which is just about to start, and that's a new way of living mobility. Uber is absolutely convinced that as society, we're entering a new generation of mobility, where people want to have transport from A to B instead of having a car to drive from A to B. And that's a multi-billion-dollar market they are after, much bigger than the taxi industry. And that's the one that justifies that analysts give Uber more capitalization than the 3 largest German car manufacturing companies altogether, much more than the Toyota company as the market-leading car manufacturer today. WhatsApp. WhatsApp, a company acquired by Facebook for $19 billion for a company of about 55 employees. Why is Facebook doing that? Is it because of a couple of 100 million of users on WhatsApp? No. WhatsApp, in the very short time of existence, has successfully disrupted a multi-$100 billion industry in the telco business. It has basically killed SMS, which was a profit engine for many telco companies. That is why Facebook acquired WhatsApp. It's because of the disruptive power that WhatsApp has to a specific industry. So what I'm trying to tell you over these first couple of examples is we're living in very disruptive times. Disruptive for us as individuals, disruptive for the organizations we represent, disruptive for society altogether. So what on one side has started as an evolution in technical terms, cloud, 45 years ago with virtualization, is now developing into a societal revolution because we have latency, bandwidth, social behavior, all coming together and shifting places that we were getting used to in the past and changing them, disrupting them, impacting them, and creating a lot of additional challenges and a lot of additional opportunity. So what are we going to do to react to that? What are CEOs, business leaders doing, government leaders, politicians doing to react to these challenges? Well, they are asking technical communities, like assembled here in this conference, to do three things. Give them tools to be fast. There's a race out there, and they want to make sure that they are first and fastest with whatever application they bring to market. The second one is give them empowerment to engage in different ways with their customers. It's about service. It's about differentiating from your next competitor. And then finally, they want to make sure they get an infrastructure that is as efficient as possible. So it's three very different things that the IT community, the developers community, are facing together in terms of expectations from business leaders. I want to give you three examples of cloud projects that we've been doing over the last couple of years. Three very different examples. I want to start off on this page here. Hard to identify what you see here on this page, but it's actually a tennis ball. A tennis ball that is hitting the net and is analyzed by a cloud-based computing analytics application that we run for the Wimbledon Championship for the last 24 years. Now, if you talk to the managers, to the people responsible in Wimbledon, since 1877, when Wimbledon was started, Wimbledon was not about the athlete, about the sport. That was all secondary. That was all means, a tool. Wimbledon was about experience. When you go to Wimbledon, you see the picnics, you see the strawberries, you see the champagne, you see all those things that make Wimbledon a unique event in the sports entertainment industry in the world since 1877. And for the last 24 years, we've been working with the Wimbledon organizers to translate that experience into the digital world of today, with huge growth in the mobile applications and in the online presence of Wimbledon, with huge success for the Wimbledon organizers to provide the spectators with a different kind of perspective, with a different kind of insight into what the athlete that they support actually plans, is about to do, and is actually doing on the court. So it's not about being efficient, even though there is a big data center running in the basement of Wimbledon every year. It's not so much about allowing new business applications on the cloud. It's really about allowing a new type of experience for the spectator, the end user of the Wimbledon application suite. Now let me shift continents here and industry for a minute. The port of Ningbo is the largest cargo port in the world. Secondary Chinese city, the largest cargo port in the world. 5,000 companies operate in the port of Ningbo every day. Large multinational forwarding companies and very small freight agencies, family-type businesses. All those 5,000 companies, depending on their size, have one problem in common, and that is minimizing idle times of equipment. The most expensive thing for anybody working in the forwarding business, in the freight business, is idle capacity of equipment. Trucks, containers, ships, anything that happens to be very expensive, very asset-rich in the forwarding industry. So we have been working with the Port of Ningbo to give a tool that is cloud-based and RFID-enabled to enable efficiency, highest possible efficiency for the equipment that goes in and out of the Port of Ningbo, with huge savings to these companies operational in the Port of Ningbo. So is this about client experience? No. Is this about allowing new business ideas on the cloud? No. This is about financial benefit. This is about efficiency gains. And then let me take you to a third example that we're also working on in the cloud extensively and increasingly, and that is the gaming industry. Now, I could use a lot of examples. With the acquisition of SoftLayer to the IBM company last year, we have taken a lot of gaming companies into our customer set. Now, for those of you in the room who might smile a little bit saying, oh my gosh, gaming. Get me right, gaming is not a game. Gaming is the largest revenue share in online applications. Gaming is serious business to a lot of companies out there. The example you see on the chart here is Music Mastermind, an application called Zaya. Now, the founders of Zaya are absolutely convinced that at any given point of time during the day, 1 out of 3 people in this room here have some sort of a melody, some sort of a rhythm in your mind. And they said, wouldn't it be great, as a game, if you have the tools at the hand to translate what you have in your mind into professional music? So it's a gaming application on Android or on iPhone, and you can actually sing into your iPhone, and you can actually choose a couple of professional tools to make it sound like professional music, with huge growth in terms of access by users, with huge growth of a music-minded community that is using this application. Is that about user experience? Yes, a little bit, but it's not about transforming user experience. Is it about efficiency? Yes, because it's about scale, but it's not primarily about efficiency. It's a new business idea that was only possible because of the cloud. So I guess you follow me in my initial client examples here, that it's 3 very different things the cloud can do. The cloud can help efficiency and cost. The cloud can help new capabilities, new ways of engaging, or the cloud can actually enable new business ideas, new revenue ideas, new monetizing ideas on the cloud altogether. And depending on who you talk to, depending on who we talk to over thousands of cloud engagements around the world in the last couple of years, we see these expectations formalize from our customers, and we start realizing that this is no longer about technical evolution. It is really about business transformation and societal revolution that is capitalizing here. We strongly believe that in any organization that is embarking on the cloud, there is a coexistence of what we call the systems of record and the systems of engagement. Clients request from us and from our players in the market that are competing with us, that are working in this market with us, to be able to answer to hybrid environments. So why is that? Is that because complex is beautiful? No. It's because any organization does have existing on-premise infrastructure, one way or the other, that they want to integrate into this new world of cloud. And we strongly believe that a successful cloud transformation can only happen if you keep in mind that this traditional IT will not go away overnight, but will have to be integrated with the new world of cloud. And that needs a lot of open standard-based integration capability. We call businesses that are prone, that are ready for these future challenges, composable businesses. Composable businesses because they have the agility to react to their market environment, like the 3 examples, Wimbledon, Port of Ningbo, or Music Mastermind before. Composable because they demand a level of collaboration between IT, developers, marketing, HR, finance, that has never been there before in organizations. We see silos breaking down, falling in organizations of our clients, enabled, driven, and fueled by the cloud. Only a composable business has the flexibility and the agility to enable these kind of transformational challenges. Now, what we also see changing from those many, many client engagements we had in countries around the world over the last couple of years is that the domain of innovation is changing. Traditionally, from an infrastructure perspective, the CIO owned innovation. Because the CIO, as the owner of the infrastructure, would tell the rest of the organization what is feasible and what is not possible. Now we see that role split up into three very different domains of innovation. Infrastructure is still out there. Infrastructure has a very important handle in terms of security, in terms of scalability, in terms of IT governance. But next to infrastructure, the CIO, we see the developer community coming up very strongly. A lot of developers here in the room since this morning. Developers who probably care not so much primarily about security or scale or governance, but care primarily about speed. They want to be the first with their idea in an application, in production, rolled out around the world. They want to have the best tools available today in order to get the job done. And then thirdly, the line of business buyers, the leaders of HR, finance, marketing, they don't want to be bothered with speed to the extent that it's about infrastructure. They want to have access to whatever latest technology tool is available to help them meet the requirements of their specific job roles. So three very different and distinct domains of innovation in any organization that has to collaborate, but they also bring three very different expectations to the cloud and to vendors and providers of cloud like us. When we talk about the IBM Cloud portfolio, the first thing you will notice is that it has changed the way IBM has traditionally been working with our customers. It's not so much primarily about proposals and RFPs, it's primarily about a portal. And I think that's the name of the game for many cloud-based solutions in the industry today. So everything I talk about today in terms of our cloud capabilities in the IBM company can actually be looked at, can actually be tried out, and can actually be purchased on the IBM Cloud Marketplace. The IBM Cloud Marketplace is a new type of look and feel to procure cloud type of services, cloud-based services from IBM online. Now, there is a lot of companies out there that have either been around for a while or that have been born on the cloud hype, on the cloud phenomenon over the last couple of years. There's a lot of headlines out there about success, but also exposure and even sometimes failure of these type of companies. Let me be very clear. In IBM, with 103 years of experience, we respect every single one of these companies a lot. Some of these companies are really agile, are really quick, are really fascinating, simple and easy and straightforward in what they do. But we strongly believe in a business-to-business world, and that is what is our core audience in IBM. It's not about being the quickest in every single niche. It's about putting the whole thing together. We have invested over the last couple of years, ever since 1969, into building a portfolio that is comprehensive, not because we like to be difficult and complicated, but because we strongly believe that only if it is comprehensive, its components of the portfolio can meet the requirements of every single customer and can actually take the cloud adoption of our customers all the way from design stage into execution, including integration. Over 1,500 patents have been registered for IBM around our cloud portfolio alone. We have acquired, over the last 7 years, $7 billion for 17 companies in the cloud business, because we understand not all the capabilities exist within IBM and within our own 450,000 people workforce. So we have built a massive portfolio to make sure that we have this kind of integration capability and this kind of tailor-made solutioning capability that our clients rightfully request. And it all starts at the bottom here with SoftLayer. SoftLayer is an acquisition of a company we bought a year ago for $2 billion, which is the kernel of our public cloud type of services. But SoftLayer is so much more. With SoftLayer, we've acquired a company that has two core beliefs, and you will hear more from my coworker Steve Cannell, I think on Wednesday or tomorrow night on this conference. SoftLayer is convinced about two things. First, a company that goes to the cloud wants to be flexible in the cloud and not be charged for transfers of data in the cloud. So whenever our customers are in the soft layer network and they have their data on one of the pods in the soft layer network, if they decide for whatever reason they want to shift data from one place in the world to the other one, they are not charged extra. A lot of companies make their profit by doing that. The other one is very much in the spirit of what I said before. Cloud is comprehensive. Cloud is a coexistence of systems of record and systems of engagement, of the new virtual world, shared services, and traditional on-premise IT. If we are serious about that kind of ambition, then we need to provide a flexibility to our clients that will allow them to do any combination of bare metal, physical servers, all the way down into virtual servers. And that's something you can do with SoftLayer. Not a lot of cloud providers can do that. Choose any combination of a dedicated bare metal server and any combination of a virtual server environment, and you can put that together and have it working in SoftLayer. So two big differences in terms of flexibility and fair charging and fair pricing and fair go-to-market around SoftLayer as an infrastructure as a service ground engine, if you want. If we move up on the value stack here from infrastructure as a service into more of a business and a platform as a service environment, then you've got to capitalize on the global network that we've built. 40 data centers for SoftLayer around the world. We're investing another $1.2 billion this year in adding additional data centers around the world. But we've also launched something that we call Bluemix. Now, Bluemix is an environment for developers that will allow you to have the tools at hand from IBM and from third parties to do the development job in the best and most efficient way possible. In fact, if you have time and if you have interest, there are meetups, I think at every top of the hour at the IBM booth on the third floor here, that will give you an opportunity to test and try what Bluemix can do for you. And then finally, in terms of security, we have chosen an approach of no compromise around security in the past on cloud. We don't want to have any vulnerability for our clients. So we use the same security framework that we have built in IBM over the last decades around running mission-critical systems for Fortune 500 companies for anything we do in the cloud. In fact, we have launched for a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, with Intel, the first cloud platform with SoftLayer that is allowing security and monitoring down to the chipset in terms of trusted hardware together with Intel. So security must not be taken lightly. Now, from Bluemix as a development platform, moving up the stack into software as a service, then you're actually ending up, let me just shift here forward, in the software as a service world. Now in IBM we have more than 100 different software products that are available as a service today. These are very specialized services, some for IT, the majority for marketing, HR, finance, and a lot of other specialized line of business buyers. On the IBM Cloud Marketplace, you can access those tools, but you can also access about 150, 200 third-party products, which we feel are very closely related to these products. So you see there's a very strong commitment, again, to openness and to an ecosystem of partners around our software as a service portfolio. The software as a service portfolio, as I mentioned before, covers a lot of different industries. And we are very determined in IBM to either develop the best in each industry or to acquire the best in each industry. We have acquired about 140 companies over the last 15 years in the IBM company to expand our software suite to meet those software as a service kind of requirements. So let me wrap up here. I think our portfolio is pretty broad, pretty much of breadth and depth. But this is not because we want to be so complicated and so sophisticated. This is not because we are geeks in technology. The IBM company has been 102 years of a technology company, and not a single of those years we were working on development of technology for the sake of technology. We've always been using technology to help businesses transform or to help solve business problems or societal problems that were considered unsolvable before. I started with talking about Apollo. It was IBM computing technology in Apollo that took the man to the moon. The sensor About 70 years ago, the census in the US was possible because of IBM technology. We love to apply technology for the sake of business transformation, but we also understand you need to have a very comprehensive portfolio that goes all the way from infrastructure and software to development to Bluemix to our software as a services portfolio with partners and into our business process as a services portfolio. I want to jump in the interest of time over the final example here, which is an example called DriveWise from Canada and the US that allows road pricing and weighing of trucks through a cloud-based technology, and really wrap up on my last chart here. 30 minutes talking about 45 years of a technical evolution does not give justice to what we could say and what we want to say. 30 minutes talking about a societal revolution is not even possible to even start undertaking. But the one thing I wanted to get across here in those 30 minutes is, let's admit, life out there, outside this room, in your companies, in your organizations, in your life, is a race. It's a race out there. It's a race for the next client, a race for the next good idea, a race for the next market leader. We have seen companies over the last couple of years go from a good idea to $100 million of revenue in less than a year, thanks to cloud. We've also seen an equal number of companies go from $100 million revenue to going out of business in less than a year. Developers, IT responsible managers, and line of business responsible leaders cannot afford to wait. They have to act. And we're very proud and very happy to engage with you on any of these fronts. Thank you.